A stern Jamie Lee Curtis switches bodies with her wild teenage daughter, Lindsay Lohan, and they learn about each other in the process.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle.
Andre.
Luis.
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 112.
Oh, you didn't go 1, 1, 2. Didn't you go 1, 1?
Should I start counting like the count from Sesame Street? Episode 1, 1, 2.
I like that. That's good.
Stop. I just like how
I like
you...
that.
Can you tell the difference, listeners, that we're recording this in the morning versus the night? The last, 5-6 weeks we've been doing it at night with kids in bed, trying to be quiet. Andre literally shouted that intro.
Yeah.
1, 1, 2.
Especially when we record it in the evenings after work. Emily just gets home from bar. I'm home from work, and I'm like, yo, kids suck.
Yeah.
We hear y'all.
What's up? How's it going?
I don't
Anyway,
got
this
any,
week.
Not your own kids, though.
No, I don't have any kids.
Well, I'm just saying
just
to
work with
anyone
them.
else who heard that statement, we're not saying your own kids suck to you. We're just saying
No, it's
Other
never your
people's
own kids.
kids.
It's
Other
only
people's
Oh, yeah,
kids
other people's
suck.
other
kids.
people's kids.
Yeah. Hey, all y'all's kids suck.
Andre,
Oh, sorry.
this is a
by
family.
the way, that was a joke.
This
was
is
a
a
joke.
family-friendly
Yo,
your
podcast.
kids
I
are
love kids,
angels.
okay? We know this.
You
So
guys
does
are fine.
Andre.
You kids are fine. This week, we are talking about the 2003 live-action Disney film Freaky Friday.
Which is a wonderful example of
Yes.
awful kids.
Yeah, hey, these kids
Yeah.
suck.
Cool. Okay, so fun fact, listeners. I had texted in our Walt Vault group message like, "Hey, did you guys watch the movie yet?" And Luis was like, "Yee," and then he said, "A massive anxiety" or something like that. And I was like, "Why does he have anxiety over this movie? Like, it doesn't make sense." Freaky. And then as I was watching Lindsay Lohan be a teenager, I was like, "Yup, that sounds like Luis hell."
No.
But let's go ahead and pop into our first impressions of Freaky Friday. Andre and I have seen this movie. Emily and Luis have not, per usual, because, Andre and I are too obsessed with movies.
Yeah, movies.
So let's start with Luis over there on his switchity switch. How did you feel about Freaky Friday?
It was a good movie. It was just
Freaky?
Lindsay Curtis just had me on anxiety like no
Uh-huh.
other business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we tell your personal business right now, Lou?
No,
Please?
I can, but you can.
Okay. So, Luis 2 days ago started his Invisalign
Woo-woo.
treatment. So we're super excited
Mhm.
for him. We're going to get an extra beautiful smile because he already has a beautiful smile. But now he's going to extra beautiful. So he's going to talk just about as much as usual. Maybe. Probably less. But he's over there with a little bit of a lisp. But, as long as you talk into the microphone, we should be able to hear you, Luis.
Hold
For the
that
most
lisp,
part.
okay? I'll just be like...
Okay, Donald Duck.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, Luis. But I just have one question for you, Luis. Did you like Princess Diaries or this one better?
Princess Diaries.
Okay,
Mm.
good to know. All right, Andre. First impression of Freaky Friday.
Oh, Freaky Friday. I love a body switch. I love me
Yeah,
a body
because
switch
Andre doesn't
movie.
want his broken back. You can switch it with someone.
If I could jump into the body of a
Teenage.
much younger person and not feel all the pain that I currently feel right now, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. But yeah, I like this movie. It's very fun. It's quite silly. Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome in this. I really
Mhm.
love her acting as a teenager. It's really great. The only thing I really don't like is the whole Asian voodoo that they do in this, where it's just like a sneaky Chinese lady, and she's like, "Oh, arguing white people, I better disrupt their entire lives and give them weird magical fortune cookies."
Yeah,
Okay, this is a weird plot line, I guess.
Yeah.
But sure. But other than that, this movie is fun and fun.
I can agree with that. Emily's dying, so I'll let Emily go into her first impression next.
Okay, first off, that's the best part of the whole movie.
Her facial expressions when she's like, oh.
Dude, the whole time that lady was on screen, I kept calling her grandma, and I think Louise thought I was saying that she was their grandma. I'm like, obviously not. But I was like, Grandma, no, Grandma, no.
Grandma, don't do it.
You could see her walking around like she's in the background of like 4 or 5 scenes, and she's just like creeping.
She just got her plate of magical fortune cookies in the back. She's just waiting. She's desperate to use these things all the time.
And the daughter very obviously knows that she has done this before. That's what's so funny.
My mom has an addiction. She has a problem. She keeps trying to swap bodies with people.
You thought she was a matchmaker? No.
No.
It's just that I was very interested in seeing how the switch happened, because I had no idea where we were going with this. But then the fact that it was like Asian voodoo was so funny. Bizarre, but hilarious.
Quite weird.
So I did like this movie a lot. But there was some major, totally intentional, but major cringeworthy moments in this, where I was just mostly between Jamie Lee Curtis and Chad Michael Murray.
Yes.
Oh my
That's
God.
all the best part.
And
I'm serious.
that's why Luis was extra cringy. He was like, "Oh my God, look!"
Homie just kept showing up. Like he was
dude,
just
we're
there.
gonna talk
and
about
there,
him
and
hardcore.
there.
I was like, "Go home, Chad, go home."
I'm
But
happy you liked it.
overall, I was enthralled. Like, I wanted to see where we were going. I wanted to see it because, like, I kept thinking to myself, like, "Oh my God, they're gonna get married." Like at the end,
Right.
like at what point are they gonna switch back? Because
Yeah.
good God, please don't have them marry each other. Like that's not like ethically right and like morally right.
I couldn't remember the details either. So I was like, are they gonna be like on the
like
stand?
on the altar,
Right, on the altar, and she's gonna be
I
like,
knew.
I have to kiss my new stepdad. Oh my God. here we
yeah,
go.
like please don't make us do that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, dude, I knew where this is going, man. But
it was fun though to watch the whole transition, and especially because I mean I talk about it every time. I can't not talk about it. Jamie Lee Curtis has the haircut that I want, like 30 years from now.
oh, for sure.
Like gray and everything. She's not gray in this movie, which I was
she is
bizarre.
now, though, but
But like I want
Right.
her hair. So when they cut it into that, I was like, boom, there it is.
Okay. Go
okay,
off,
Jamie Lee,
Lee.
go off, Jamie Lee.
I love her.
Good.
Okay.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it.
I did enjoy.
Because I picked this movie because I freaking love this movie, okay? It is so funny. It held up. I was kind of worried. I was worried,
Yeah.
y'all, because we've been watching these movies that we like as children or teens, and we're
Right.
like, oh, God, it's like 10, 15 years later or whatever. Is this going to hold up?
Hold on, pause. When was this movie made?
2003.
Okay, I mean a hot minute ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 15 years,
17.
17 years
Yeah,
later.
nice
So
17.
I
yes.
was worried, like, is this going to hold up? I'm suggesting these movies like Princess Diaries and Freaky Friday, and I'm like, God, I hope my friends like them, or else I'm going to be like, sorry. Again.
No, it
So
was
sorry.
Oops.
It was very good.
Um,
It was cute.
Literally, as soon as this movie started, I had flashbacks to like my preteen years
Mhm.
of me wanting to be Lindsay Lohan with chunky freaking highlights in my hair.
Good
okay?
God, they're so bad.
Because those chunky highlights were
Chunky.
really in the early 2000s. I thought she was so BA with like her rocker style, all the stuff. Like I thought Lindsay Lohan was the best. Okay, she kind of fell off the wagon. Maybe we'll talk about that on the Crack in the Vault. But
Yeah.
it still held up. Thank goodness. I was quoting this. Audrey and I were both like quoting this movie. Like when Jamie Lee's like, "Oh, I'm like the crypt keeper." We both like said it out loud because
At
it was
the
just
same
so classic. Like,
That was
this
good.
movie. It still holds up. Thank goodness. So I enjoyed it upon this viewing just as much as I did as a kid, and I'll probably revisit this movie in the future because it's really good.
Yeah, no, this was very cute. I liked it.
Stacked cast, y'all.
Yeah.
Stacked cast.
A lot of people
we
on
got
this movie.
Lindsay Lohan, we got Jamie Lee Curtis,
Mhm.
and we got Chad Michael Murray. Those are
Yes.
like the three main
Well, and the dad too. We've seen him in other
The
stuff.
dad is played by
or not the dad, the
stepdad.
soon-to-be
Oh,
stepdad.
dude, he's kind of a daddy.
He's played by Mark Harmon.
He's kind of a daddy. Look at Michelle up in here.
He's a Disney dad up in
Oh,
here.
Lord.
He's a. Look at Luis's face.
He's good looking, okay?
I mean,
liked
for
him.
an older white dude, he's on NC.
Yes, he's on NCIS.
He's on NCIS, Lou.
Ah.
We kept saying like he's on.
Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
We're like
in the-
he's in
in
one of
the-
those TV shows.
Yeah. And the girl from the band, the one with the red curly hair, she was
Yeah.
on Brink.
Yes.
That's where she was from. I totally
Even
knew
the
we knew
other
her.
girl looks familiar, but
What's
it
her
might
name?
just be because of this movie.
Her name is Christina Vidal, who played
Yeah,
Maddie.
she was on
Yeah,
Brink.
she was in Brink.
And I
Yeah.
also was like, okay, these early 2000s movies, like I forgot the name of the actor in The Princess Diaries. Who was that white dude? The one from Brink.
Eric Von Detten.
Okay, well, like him, Chad Michael Murray, like all of these dudes were like classic early 2000s. Because Chad Michael
Like
Murray
love
was in A
interests.
Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff.
That's
too.
where I remember him
Yes.
from because I remember loving that movie when I
Yes.
was younger.
Yes, totally.
Um,
Is that a Disney movie?
I think so.
Well,
I'll check.
Shoot, we
I'll
might
be
have to do
honest
that in the
though, as
future.
an adult, I'd probably want to rewatch the Brandy version over that. I know
Yeah,
that it's
dude.
not
we
Disney,
did.
but
Andre and I watched that like a month ago. It was
I don't
bomb.
I don't think that one will hold up as much, the Hilary Duff one. But
yeah, like all of these
he's
actors,
definitely the
these
lover
are
in that one.
classic early 2000s actors.
Oh, it's not
And
Disney.
they were so good. And I'm trying to think, Andre and I were establishing this. Lindsay Lohan was 17 in this movie
Mhm.
and 12 in The Parent Trap. So this was only 5 years later
That's crazy.
that she
Right.
did this movie. But when she was acting like Jamie Lee Curtis, I was getting flashbacks to like when she's the British
900%
girl from The
agree.
Parent Trap. I
Yes,
was like,
absolutely.
oh, she's just channeling that.
She's
And
like,
it's-
oh,
and
you
she
want me to play two
freaking-
characters? I done did that before.
Freaking killed it, and I think that's why they hired her like for this movie
Mhm.
because she can play two people.
It's funny
you
that
know?
you say that because I was much more. No, this is gonna sound mean, but it's not Lindsay Lohan's fault. But like I was much more impressed with Jamie Lee Curtis's interpretation
for
of her
Right.
than Lindsay Lohan's interpretation of Mom because we had seen her in that other role, and it's like, oh, we know you can do it.
Uh-huh.
So like
Yeah.
you said, I totally was thinking Parent Trap when she was in those roles,
Totally.
but Jamie Lee Curtis being like
Gosh.
flippant teenager was just too much. It was
Hilarious.
good. It was good
So
stuff.
classic. So we start out with this is a classic family of divorce, right? The mom, or not divorce. I'm sorry. The moms.
Back
the
it up.
dad-
Back it up.
Dad passed away 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Mom met a new man and is getting remarried. How would a teenager act? Of course, they're going to rebel, right? So this is our classic teenager setup of rebellious teenager who dresses like a rocker and has chunky highlights
She's in a
and
band.
gets detention in school all of the time for basically.
Twice a day. I love it.
Just for
I love that
ridiculous
she was
stuff.
like trading sandwiches with the detention
With the detention
teacher.
lady.
They just,
Detention
like,
lady
know
is
each
on the
other.
come up on this job.
Dude,
All you
she
gotta do
is
is sit
getting
there
it.
and watch the bad kids and then receive gifts.
No, yeah.
She's
she
like a proctor for tests,
Yeah.
but that's it. Like
embarrasses.
Louise, just say it, man. He just
Luis is group texting
Look,
us.
Luis just texted us
me
all.
and he said, "Divorce from life." Michelle, like.
Luis, I think you forget that we're all wearing eye watches, so when you text us, we all look at our wrists
we
and
all
we're
did
like,
this and started laughing.
Guys,
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if that was appropriate to say. That's why I texted it to you.
No, that's appropriate. That's kind of funny.
and it's
Yes,
like 10
quite
years
good.
removed from the conversation, though. You should have just said it.
Well, because at first we don't know the dad passed away.
That's
so we're,
true.
We're just assuming it might be divorce.
I did assume it was divorce, so to be
Yeah,
fair.
until they go into it. So I think that's in my brain. I'm like, oh, I'm at the beginning of the movie, right? It's just divorce.
Agreed.
Until
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan, I mean Anna.
Anna.
She's struggling in high school. Okay, her teacher's out to get her.
teacher.
She's really cool though. She's in a
That
band.
dude, man, that actor.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Well,
actor
and
Andre
is
loves
awesome.
that
Luis,
teacher.
let Luis talk about the
The
teacher
teacher?
for a second because
It's
you know
like
how.
her English teacher, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
discuss
because they're
Hamlet.
like
Yes.
talking about Hamlet.
Let Luis
So
talk
long
about
story
education.
short, this dude is definitely out to get this poor girl. She's not just being a typical teen thinking that everyone's trying to ruin my life. The teacher is legit trying to ruin her life. And we don't know why yet, but we will find out.
Do you have any long-standing vendettas against any of your students, Lou?
No, but I do have a long-standing vendetta on the film industry and how they portray education. But that's a whole nother story, a whole nother rant.
You know what's really funny is that when I think about Luis's experience as an educator, he's come home probably on like 4 or 5 different occasions where he has like a really fervent story to tell about a kid just like being the worst in class.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the worst. Like I would probably lose my business had this
Yeah.
happened to me. And Luis is just very even keel about it. And then, you know, it happens again. And then it happens again. So then that kid, not that I know the kid's name or anything, but like that kid from 4th period.
You're like,
is
I
then-
hate that kid.
Right? That kid becomes like number one like topic of conversation in
Right.
the family. And
Becomes
I'm
an
like,
enemy.
I'm like, I hate 4th period kid, right? So Luis is like talking about the kid, talking about the kid, talking about the kid. And then every single time this has happened, like I said, 4 or 5 different times, the next year, that kid will come back to Luis
Yeah.
and be like, Mr. Ruiz, I miss you. Thank you for like being nice to me
Uh-huh.
and blah, blah, blah. And no lie to you. An example of that has happened. And Luis became that kid's like
mentor.
confidant and mentor. So this teacher, I think that's why Luis gets so PO'd, is that he's like, teachers have a responsibility and they're being portrayed like idiots.
Yeah.
And they're getting meatloaf that Luis is not getting. So he's really mad about that too. He wants to be traded for the meatloaf.
Right. Show us as being caring human beings and hook us up with some meatloaf.
Right.
And I said this. And,
2 requests.
And you can.
Meatloaf?
You don't remember the teacher was getting traded the sandwich for meatloaf?
The detention
No.
teacher.
Detention teacher.
Oh, come on.
It was funny.
Well,
Well, you can bleep me out for this too.
Oh,
This teacher is a major block, okay? Because
Woo!
Lindsay Lohan, she has a crush on
Chad Michael Murray, who
what's
plays
his name?
Jake.
Jake. Thank you, Jake. I keep thinking of my sister's
Jake
dog.
From State Farm.
Jake from State Farm, and my sister's dog, who is named Jake too.
Oh, yeah.
Khakis.
So she has a crush on Jake, who works at the high school. I'm assuming he graduated like the year before or something.
Right.
Like he just kind of works there.
He's like
Hold
18 or
on.
19, I guess.
Is he not a student there?
I see.
No,
I
he's not.
I thought it
thought
was a
for the-
I thought it was a senior who's TA-ing or
That's
something.
what I thought.
I thought for like the first 45 minutes that he was like a TA who also went to high school there. But then he's like, I gotta go. I got a second job. I gotta go
He
to.
works there, and then later on, when she's like, "Well, why do I always see you in detention?" and he's like, "Because I work here." I think he like cleans up stuff and like.
Yeah,
No,
like
he's a
if
student.
like if
No,
he's a
he's
student, he's
not.
not going to many classes.
He's like 19.
he's
I
TAing
think
a
he like
bunch.
graduated the year before. Maybe we need to look more into this. We'll have to look it up. But I think he's not a student there.
Well, if we'd cut that early 2000s hair, I would call him a daddy without a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Ew.
And
But-
that's why, well, that's
But
why
with that-
Lindsay Lohan is into
Ooh.
him, right? He rides a bike and all this stuff. So then
Motorcycle.
he like finally comes up to talk to her, and the teacher is like, "You should be focusing more on passing your honors exam than boys." And so then he drives off. I'm like, what kind of teacher does that? You just massively like
Yes.
into her romantic life. I guess we find out later why the teacher does that, but just man.
Ooh, he's rude.
Oh, he's
Ain't
terrible.
none of your business.
Trying to get on Chad Michael Murray's bike, okay?
Stephen Tobolowsky. That's the actor.
Tobolowsky?
Stephen Tobolowsky.
Oh, that's the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's
He was-
just his name.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it
He
is.
plays Mr. Bates.
Yes,
Um,
Mr. Bates.
So yeah, so at the beginning of the movie, it's Thursday. It's Thursday morning,
Yes.
right? And we go through
Her school day.
each of the girls' lives. We go through Jamie Lee Curtis's day and Lindsay Lohan's day.
She's a therapist.
She's a psychologist. Yes.
Her client Evan is too much.
Well, wait, before we even get to that, this is so funny to me because early 2000s technology was hilarious in this movie.
Bro,
like her
she was
Blackberry
on that Palm
and-
Pilot,
Dude,
son.
but she had the best like, did you see her row setup and like her charging
Yes.
station?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I want that. Like, that's
I need
cool.
that for my devices.
She had like a whole wooden setup with like all of her like charging areas. But yes, so she had our equivalent of like a watch and a phone and an iPad and a
Yeah.
computer. But she had her Palm
Palm
Pilot.
Pilot.
So
her
she had a
two
Blackberry,
phones.
BlackBerry. Yes.
And there was something like a pager, and I
Yes.
think it's I'm assuming like one was for her wedding because she's getting married, one was
Right.
for work,
right.
one was personal, and then
And one had her like meetings. Well, that was her Palm Pilot.
yeah, so her Palm
Yes.
Pilot was like her messenger. So she had them all like like separated by event or whatever, which is smart because at that time you can't really like.
And she has her headset.
And her heads
and
her
when she's in the grocery store, she's like la 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 la.
But oh my God, that poor lady, man, she has so much on her plate, and she
got a
seems,
lot going on.
She
like
seems
maybe
to
take some time off work before the
she
weekend
seems like
of
a
your wedding.
workaholic for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
But she's getting paid the big bucks. Like,
oh yeah,
the
And also,
bucks.
her clients,
money.
her clients are nuts. Like
her clients are insane, but when they like, she gets a phone call about halibut or something, and she's like, "Yeah, I want the halibut," and they're like, "It's like $10,000." I'm like, "Oh, she's got big bucks being a therapist."
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
she mentions
got-
at one point that she gets $150 an hour.
money.
Okay,
Get your money, Jamie Lee.
I'm about,
And
to,
at
I'm about
that
to go back to
time-
school.
At that time too,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost 20 years ago, like work
Yeah,
it,
so
sis.
she's
Yeah.
been for sure. She's been seeing a client named Evan for like 5 months straight every single day. He's insane, and I
Evan
remember
is
as
very
a
needy.
kid thinking Evan was so funny. When he's like, "You're gonna go on your honeymoon, and I'm not gonna be able to call you." So yeah, you better charge $150 an hour, Jamie Lee, if you gotta put
Can
up
you
with
imagine though? That makes me so sad. Like, can you imagine?
That dude like $300 an hour.
But think about like from her perspective, like, okay, so I have 2 kids. One is having such problems,
Right.
like quote unquote, right? The other one is doing nothing wrong. He's a complete angel, but we know from the background.
But he's also a little.
from our
he's an
omniscient
annoying
view,
little
he's
brother.
totally being a
He
pain.
likes to
Correct.
fight with sister. Yeah.
Yes.
My fiance is amazing,
Mhm.
but he's also
He's
not really
sexy.
parenting, right?
right.
Like
He's trying to be hands off.
he's trying to be
so
hands
that the
off.
kids like him.
Yeah.
All the family is coming.
Oh, Grandpa's here.
Grandpa's
He
coming.
doesn't remember anything.
And he's deaf.
We're about to have this wedding rehearsal and my wedding, and I'm doing all the details. She obviously doesn't have a wedding planner.
No,
she
does
is her
not.
wedding planner.
She's doing it all.
And then you add the clients
her
on top
daughter
of
is
it.
her maid of honor.
Yes, who's not doing anything.
She's not doing nothing.
but you add those clients on top of it who literally expect her to answer on her honeymoon.
Right. They need
So
her.
it's so bizarre. I can't imagine what that would feel like.
It's-
all of
it's
those things
nuts.
together.
But she's handling it super well. I was like, "You go, girl!" Like
Yes.
For the most part.
she got a system set up. Like the best thing is when she's in the grocery store answering like all of her phone calls, right? Like through her headset.
Yeah, she's having
and
like a
she
therapy
says-
session on the phone.
But her voice changes, right? When she's talking to the wedding planner, she's like, "Give me the halibut, blah blah blah," and then her other phone rings, and she's like, "Hello."
Remember,
Like-
Elizabeth, you're a strong, independent woman, and you don't need any man. And then the grocery store lady's like, "Thank you."
Literally
so
so good.
You do not need
She-
validation from a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a strong, independent woman for sure. Miss
Yeah.
Little Jamie Lee over there getting it.
And she looked so cute, but she about to get cuter.
So Lindsay Lohan comes back from her really bad day at school,
Multiple detentions.
practices with her band after, putting some underwear on her brother's head because they like to fight over stuff.
Well,
Because he's
the-
like in her room wearing her bras,
I'm
reading,
reading
her
her diary.
Like, ooh, Jay! Ooh!
I won't lie, I don't have siblings, so I have no idea what that would have been like.
I didn't
but
have brothers, so I don't know.
I looked at Luis and was like, if I walked into my room and my brother and his friends were wearing my underwear and going through my diary, I would probably murder too. Like, that
Yeah.
is not.
Did this kind of stuff used to happen to
So
you?
I'm
Andre?
the oldest.
It wouldn't have happened to him. He would have been doing it.
Well, no.
yeah.
Wrong.
No, you did it.
as-
Marcus used to do this to you?
As the oldest,
Nah, you did it to Marcus.
I
and
wasn't
Imani.
up in my siblings' business because I didn't care. They're,
Yeah.
they're
Andre
less than
doesn't
me.
care,
They're
yeah.
inferior. They're nothings.
Okay,
so,
shut
Whoa!
Shut up.
Man, I'm
I'm
a middle
kidding.
child. This is hurting my heart right now.
I love my siblings, but I wasn't up in their business because I didn't have to be. I
Yeah.
had other interests. But they, because they looked up to me, were always in my business. My brother would come in. He'd turn off my video games while I'm playing it. My sister, she's always bothering me, trying to hang out with me and my friends. It's just annoying city over there with younger siblings. So this struck very true to me. I didn't have a diary or bras for my siblings to come
They were
mess
taking
with.
your action figures.
But them being up in my room, all up in my stuff, was a common occurrence. Get out of here! This is my room. Stop it!
Well, see, and that's just so funny
Wedgies.
because
Yeah.
we're all very
Wedgies?
different when
you
it.
gave your siblings wedgies?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Well, because we're all very different, like familial wise. You're the oldest, Michelle's the middle, Luis is the baby, and I'm an only.
yeah,
So
we're all
we
different.
have very different views of what that looks like.
From a middle child perspective, being a middle child is the worst, okay?
I
turned
can
out-
imagine. I
turned
feel like
out-
middle's the worst.
I turned out pretty okay, thank the Lord Jesus of Christ up in heaven.
Of
Okay?
Christ.
Jesus Christ. Jesus
Luis-
of House Christ.
Luis is even laughing over there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Sorry, guys. I get defensive. It's hard to be a middle child, okay? Because the oldest is the angel, okay?
Mhm.
My sister was perfect, could do no wrong,
Right.
really smart, wasn't,
You're using the past tense. So
didn't do
that
anything.
is
Yeah,
a
she
lot.
crazy
That
now, but she was like
Right.
that, okay? And then the younger sibling is the
Is the
baby,
baby.
okay?
Yeah.
So they get away with anything. You know what
everything.
happens to the middle child? We get called the crazy one. You know what my nickname was? Is the wild child. Oh, that shit's just a wild child. You know,
Yeah,
she's
it
just
sounds like my
doing
brother.
her over there.
Sounds like Marcus.
They say the same thing about Marcus. Okay?
Says the same thing about Luis's middle siblings
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, being the middle's hard, okay? I'm just lucky. I turned out all right.
You actually are a very normal middle
Yeah,
child.
I am.
Yeah. That's true.
That's why I try to tell my mom, like, I'm pretty normal, okay? Stop calling me wild. I'm okay. All right, I'm fine.
Good.
Gosh, yeah, being middle child, no fun. That's why I always tell Andre we're either having one kid or two kids. Like, we're not having three, because if we have three, we have to have four, so that there's two middle child, so that they can be friends.
Well, I told Luis, I
They
was
can
like,
help
I
each
can't
other.
have one more kid because I can't make poor Olivia the middle child. She's
No.
too perfect to be the middle
You
kid.
can't do it. You would have to have four. And then you would have to have two middle children. I'm dead
God.
set on that as a middle
These
child.
numbers are piling
That's
up.
how it would be.
Andre, you better get ready, bro.
2 to 4.
So if we have twins right off the bat, we done. Snip, snip, okay?
That sounds great.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it while we're still in the hospital.
Triplets. That would be different, though, because they're all the same age. It's fine.
Luis, it's very funny listening to Luis talk about his siblings, though, because even though he's the youngest of 6, you're the 6th, right? Yes?
he doesn't know.
He just shrugged. I don't know. He pick up your mic so you're ready to go. He is the youngest of 6. His oldest sibling is in her like mid 50s. So
okay.
they have a
a
very,
long-
very, very
large gap.
large range. So for
maybe not mid 50s, maybe late 40s.
Okay.
okay,
But
whatever.
still significantly
you don't know how
older
old
than
your
you.
sister is?
I don't know
Oh.
anyone's birthday except mine, Emmy's, and sometimes our children.
But point being is they have a very, very large gap, and between him and his sibling right above him, it's also it's very large.
Oh, okay.
So every time we get into family situations, they're always like, Luis, you always got treated better than us, and blah, blah, blah. And Luis, what do you respond with every single time?
It's because I was in the bozo and did stuff to get mistreated or to get
Bozo?
punished.
Okay, that's not what he says. He's like, I watched all y'all do all the bad stuff, so I knew what not to do, and I didn't have to get beat for it. You're welcome.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
Luis,
that's what I said, but I think I usually said it with like foul
Nicer.
language, and that's why I didn't say it.
Oh, foul language.
So you tried to make it PC
Make it-
and
make
call
it
them
nice.
bozos.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So
Bozos.
with that said,
That's
it's,
so funny.
it's very interesting to watch that sibling.
That dynamic.
So this
Go
is
back
what
and
was
forth.
giving me anxiety, okay? Luis was having anxiety about the body switching. I was having anxiety about the teenage daughter. Like, as we were watching this, y'all know I have baby fever. If you don't, now you know, to a massive degree. Andre and I want to start having kids soon, but this corona is bringing us down.
Michelle wants to have babies soon, and Andre and Corona are bringing her down.
I'm fine. I'm
No,
fine to
this
wait till
Corona's,
Corona passes.
bringing Michelle down, but helping Andre a bit.
I'm like, okay,
Rona,
save a little bit.
Anyways, the point is, I'm going to ignore all this. What was I saying?
my mom is rooting
as
for
soon
you
as
guys,
I saw
just so you
Lindsay
know.
Lohan acting like this with the brothers and screaming and be like, "You're ruining my life," I was like, "Babe, I don't want no kids." Because I always think of kids as like babies and toddlers, but then they gotta grow up. Screw that. Don't do
I
it.
know. Tell me
yeah.
about it.
They might not like you either.
What do you think about boarding schools? Why are those a thing? Because of that.
But, like,
you
get
gotta
this
get
kid
out
out
of
of
here
my
for
house,
most of the
jeez.
year.
And then I told Andre, I was like,
Hogwarts is for parents, okay?
Yes.
honestly,
You thought it was for
Right?
the kids.
It
It's
should have
for
I
been the
don't
Dursley's
think-
happiest day on earth. I'm like, oh, you're taking him? Good
but
gracious,
then
yes.
Get outta here.
I made the comment. I was like, well, I wasn't that bad as a teenager, so I'm sure our kids will be fine. And Andre was like, I'm about to ask your mom if you were bad. I'm like, well, I'll ask my mom later.
I don't even have to
How-
ask her. I've heard it before.
How many times did Michelle say, "But Daddy, I love him"?
Yeah.
A lot. Okay, moving on. Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
So
Love
yes.
it.
Anyways,
so we get
Mom,
through their days.
They're doing the rock. They're practicing their band in the garage because Lindsay Lohan is in a band.
in a band.
Doing the rock.
Doing
They're
the
doing
rock.
the garage band. Okay. It's so loud in there that mom unplugs her and
Right.
gets really mad because she gets a call from the principal saying that she's been in detention twice today.
Mhm.
And I love that Lindsay Lohan's like screaming coming into the house, and mom is just sitting at the table with like her hands crossed,
Like
just
a
waiting for
supervillain?
her. And she pulls the therapist thing on her child, and I can see how that would be annoying.
For
like,
sure.
You want to tell me why you've been in detention twice today? And she's like, yeah, because my teacher's out to get me, and I didn't do nothing, and stupid Tracy Hinkman
Oh, the girl. The girl
whatever
definitely
Yes.
is like.
kept hitting me in the head with the volleyball, so I hit her in the head with a volleyball too. And I was like, first of all, from our perspective, we know that she's being 110% honest.
True.
Mhm.
This is why I got detention.
Right. She had a
Mom.
bad day, and most of it wasn't her fault.
This is what happened. But all mom hears is excuses, right?
Right.
And this is where disconnect between parent and child comes in
Sure.
teenage years.
Yes.
Because although she's trying to be honest, mom can't remember when she was a teenager and things were rough. You know what
Well,
I mean?
and to even pause here too, I looked at Luis and was like, well, I mean, there was a couple things that the mom did too where I was like, obviously she's totally at the fed up point,
Right.
Oh,
and this
yeah.
is like high
She's
stakes
gone.
weekend, but like, if you unplug them in the middle of their jam sesh, I'm not saying that you have to like let them go for another 25 minutes, but like wait until the song's over, walk into the room and be like, you know that we stop at 6, it's past 6,
Right.
we're done.
Also, we need to
It
have a
was, like,
conversation
right
because
when
I
it
just
was-
got a call from your
Right?
teacher.
Versus
right when
like
she was gonna do like the best part of the song.
Right? So instead of just like shutting down the power breaker, literally taking the door off of her bedroom
Right.
and letting her just see all of that craziness.
Mama's
like,
making extreme moves, and one of those moves is marrying a new guy,
Yeah.
and she kind of does not realize that that's having an effect on her children.
And
Sure.
then mom
so
makes
it's twofold. Like I can see both people's perspective big time.
I can. So then after this, Daddy-O is just like,
Daddy-O.
let's go get some Chinese food, okay? Because we need to go get some dinner.
And nobody
Um,
wants Chinese. They're like, God,
Ugh,
why?
They're still
Chinese.
kind of fighting in the restaurant a little bit, but then Anna takes a breath and is like, you know, Mom, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And I love how Mom is just like, what do you want?
Yeah, she's like,
we're not doing this.
I understand, Mom, that I did not act the way you wanted.
Hilarious. Basically, she just wants to ask Mom if she can go to the audition
For the band.
Wango Tango band at the House of Blues,
Right.
which is tomorrow,
Friday.
Friday, and it's apparently Mom's wedding rehearsal dinner. And I really wanted to be like, even from an adult perspective, like, okay, it's just the rehearsal dinner. Just let her go to the audition. She's
Mhm.
going to be at your wedding.
Right.
Like, whatever. I don't really see why she was like, no, you can't go. You have to be there for my rehearsal dinner.
Well,
to me,
Lindsay Lohan is the maid of honor.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, don't make your daughter the maid of honor if she's not going to do anything.
Right.
you know?
She hasn't been really helping with the wedding as far as we can see.
As far
the
as we
audience.
can see.
And then also the rehearsal dinner, which we don't see until later, but it's a huge deal. Like
Yeah.
Oh
all the
my
family-
God. I
it's-
was like,
it's
this
basically
is
like the wedding. Like
Well,
what is
people
happening?
do make those things a big deal. We didn't have a rehearsal dinner for our wedding, Audrey. We had a rehearsal like, let's just this is how you're gonna walk down the aisle.
Right. Let's play the
Let's
songs.
take a picture, and then we went and got some sushi. You know, but people do make it like a.
I remember
big
I was
deal.
there. I was like, scoot over 2 inches.
Yeah.
No, you gotta get closer when you
Yeah,
kiss
yeah.
her.
It was just like a nice little thing, but people do
But this
make
is
those like a
a
big
huge
deal.
soiree.
Like with the family.
For
and
sure.
Blah blah blah.
Like they spent almost just as much on this rehearsal dinner as they spent on the wedding.
Oh,
that
for
was
sure.
it was an affair. I
Holy
thought it
moly.
was the wedding.
Excessive.
extravagant.
Excessive.
So well, and then the wedding was so low key. It was very bizarre.
Right. Yeah.
But anywho, so it's really interesting because then we blow up again. Even though again the stakes are high for Lindsay Lohan too. I mean, maybe as a kid I wouldn't have understood what like an audition at the House of Blues meant, but like
Right.
now that I'm an adult, I was like, they're a teenage band and they're gonna have an audition at
Yeah.
the House
Right.
of Blues.
This-
Like this is a big deal.
This is a big jump for their band.
you know,
for
like
sure.
this is actually
They
really
might be
cool.
able to put out an album next year if
yeah,
this goes well.
like big
So
big time.
as they're arguing in the Chinese store, this is where
Chinese store.
the Chinese restaurant.
Keep going. It's good. I
Sorry.
like it.
This is where Emily, Asian grandma jumps in. Okay.
She literally is like prancing around in the background, and you can see her. She's like thinking she's gonna say something to them. You think that she's going to like have some kind of
And even
Like-
her daughter is like, "Mama, no,
yeah,
get out of
mama,
it."
no. And grandma like shuffles up to them with a tray with 2 fortune cookies and like to ease the tension, you think, and Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are like, no, we don't
We don't
want
want
them.
them.
And she's like, take
You
them.
take. You take.
Starts shouting and like Chinese, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Good God, please don't do that again. No more. None of that.
Chinese.
She's yelling in Mandarin, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. And so they take them, and they pretty much take them just because they feel very pressured to.
Yeah,
and the
I
best
would too,
part,
probably.
the best part is they don't even eat them. Because I was like,
Right.
what if they don't eat them? This is awkward. And all they had to do was break it open.
Right. They go in separate rooms, crack the fortune cookies,
And an earthquake happens.
And
then
a
an
full-on
begins.
earthquake happens, and they find each other and like, oh my God, did you feel that? Are you okay? And we as the viewer are like, oh here it's gonna happen.
Here it goes.
And Luis and I looked at each other and we're like, I hope that like it wasn't a real earthquake and nobody else felt it. And then they didn't. It was
Right.
just them, which was really cool. So
Which is weird, and then they just go home and go to bed.
I was under the impression that none of that happened. They just woke up and were switched. Like, no fortune cooking, no nothing. It's just one day they woke up and that's how it was.
Oh.
So I didn't even know about this.
you didn't know there was Asian voodoo involved?
So
That was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
So this movie is a remake of,
Yes.
of the 1976 version of Freaky Friday, which is based on a book called Freaky Friday. And in the old movie, they both like make a wish. Like, I just wish that my mom could see how I feel one
Yeah.
day, or something like that. They both do it at the same time, and then their bodies switch. And that's all that happens. But I think for this one, they wanted to update it and modernize it a little bit. And
I
throw
think
in
it's
some
freaking
mystical.
hilarious.
Yeah,
It's so
funny.
ridiculous that's what makes it funny. Like, it's not
Right.
like it was like some kind of like enchanted like book or something. She just was like, here, read this fortune. It's just too good.
And then from here on out, as soon as they wake up in the other's body, the movie is just grade A.
Right.
Okay,
This is where the
Because
movie really
Jamie
kicks
Lee
in.
Curtis acting as a teenager is literally
It's
the
so good.
best thing I have ever seen. It is
So
so good.
Let's go through the plot points like one at a time versus like going back and forth like they do in the movie, because
Okay.
it's a little bit easier to like follow one person's day and then the
Right,
other.
yes.
So like Jamie Lee Curtis wakes up as
Lindsay
Anna.
Lohan. Yes, Anna.
And
Anna Lee Curtis is what I called her
Anna
in
Lee
my notes.
Curtis, and obviously they have their oh my God we switched moment. But once they get out of the house or are getting out of the house, it is instant pandemonium, because
So good.
like boyfriend, fiance, man is
Right.
there to pick them up. He expects a warm greeting and she doesn't want to give it, right?
Ew.
They have to take the brother to school and she's acting like herself, but
Right.
in mom body, and the
So
kid
he's
is
like,
like,
oh, he can walk.
She's like looking in mom's wallet like, ooh, platinum.
right? She's ready to hit it up. So she ends up going to work and not knowing. Well, excuse
She
me.
goes
On her way to
shopping.
work.
She goes shopping first.
And a haircut.
She goes out there. She gets it. She does all kinds of nice, cha-ching.
She's swiping that card a lot. This is where I'm getting anxiety.
Like, put it back. Put it
Yeah,
back.
we
Oh
just
my
paid off
God.
our credit card debt. Get rid of that.
Oh my God, how much did she spent $3,000? Jesus Christ.
That's where all that anxiety came from me, of her being a teenager and just like ruining things. Like
Right.
everything the teenager did was to ruin someone's life. And it's ironic because she's like, oh, you guys are just ruining my life.
Right.
She
Right.
doesn't realize it, but her being a teenager is ruining other people's lives.
So she's in there. She goes and she gets a new wardrobe. She goes and gets her hair cut.
Yep.
She gets the piercing in Jamie Lee's ear that
Right.
she wanted, which I think is hilarious.
Just so
She
funny.
then goes to her job, like to her mom's job,
As a
and
psychologist.
as the psychologist, and like meets with patients and literally just like nods and how do you feel about? She Dr. Phil's them,
Right.
and then she
Picks up the Volvo.
picks up the Volvo and totally ghost rides the whip, right?
Right.
She's just out there
She's
doing the
just
most.
Going off.
And then she picks up
Mommy Lohan.
Mommy Lohan to go back to the Chinese restaurant for lunch.
Yes.
At which point they get there and Mama Grandma is like, oh no, you didn't, Mama. And Mama like shovels back.
Yeah, because she's like, he's like, getting married tomorrow. And she's like,
Nobody tells me anything.
Yeah, the Chinese grandma just like, oh, I didn't expect any of them to come back. Normally, I just switch bodies and be on my way.
Well, and here's the best part, and this is, I think, what made Luis the most mad, was on the drive over or in some part of the hullabaloo, the caterer calls, right?
Right.
And the caterer's like, okay, something about halibut, blah, blah, blah. And we know Jamie Lee Curtis wants halibut.
It'll
And
be $10,000.
it's $10,000. And Anna Lee Curtis answers the phone and is like, halibut, ew, no, I don't want it. And she has a fight with them over the phone, at which point she cancels the entire...
It's
Caterer.
canceled.
Like, it's canceled. Cool.
what are
Don't
you
charge me.
doing?
She cancels the entire caterer. So now she's ruined most of the wedding
The
reception.
wedding, yeah.
At which point, now they're back at the Chinese restaurant, and she's like, Mom, we don't have a caterer. So there
And
goes...
that lady's like, yeah, I do.
I
China
cater, I
Mama
do,
is like,
I do.
yes, me. She like keeps pointing
Pokes
on her
like a
nose.
I do.
I do.
I freaking love it. She's like, you know what, Mama? You keep handing out those fortune cookies because I'm up in here making the money.
This
It's
is how the
ridiculous.
business works. I just realized, okay, I go in there, I find the white people arguing, I switch their bodies, they come back in complaining, and then we offer them catering for whatever events they're about to mess up for
Boom.
themselves.
Oh my
Boom.
gosh.
Great
It's just
turnaround
too
service.
much.
Yeah, dude.
So she has to go. Where does she go after that?
So then
Oh.
she goes on the
goes
TV
home
show.
to get the fortune cookie. She goes
Right,
home because
right.
she wants to find the fortune cookie because they're like, read the fortune. If you do something selfless, it'll bring you back. No, but her fiance has a surprise for her going on a talk show about her new book.
Got a new book to promote the
Oh
book, which is
my
awesome.
Honestly, I thought what they were doing, because I thought that they were going to go on to like The Price is Right and be in the audience, right?
Oh.
And that she was going to end up being like on stage and being crazy.
Sure.
No,
No.
she was
She goes on like an
on-
Oprah
It's
or
like a
Ellen
talk
style
yes,
talk show.
she's on the talk show, and she has to talk about this book, which she literally knows nothing about.
She's never read the book. She has. She couldn't even read the title. She was like,
Oh.
through the looking glass, the senescence of something.
So, if we're gonna talk about the senescence, what do you think I mean by that? She's like asking the makeup artist.
Oh, senescence, like senility. Old people, got it.
Dude. Anywho, so she does what mom and fiance would consider an awful interview because she is just up in there like, do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah, she
let
gets
the kids
Very candid.
do what they want.
It's
Like,
so
she
bad.
gets
Interview.
crazy,
Yeah.
but everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it.
Everybody loves
They
it.
give her like a standing ovation.
They think she's the
Yeah, because
business.
she's
She's
freaking
wilding
hilarious.
out.
Although her fiance the whole time is like so highly confused. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
She's like, aha, God just asked you out on a date. What are you gonna do? Let it out. Woo! Woo! These guys really hot. Woo!
It's so good. So she leaves, goes to a coffee shop to get some coffee. Lo and behold, Jake works at the coffee shop. And I think we should pause here
Yes.
and go back
Yes,
to
exactly.
Lindsay. Okay, so
Yeah, go back to Lindsay.
Mama
Mom-
Lindsay
Mama
is
Lohan.
at high school thinking that she's going to rule this place.
Right.
Okay?
She's like, oh, you got a couple of tests today. I'm gonna ace those,
This
and I'm
is
gonna
easy.
be friends with all the friends you're supposed to
Yeah.
be friends with, and I'm gonna impress all your teachers.
Jake comes up to her and she's basically like, I don't have time for boys. I need to focus on my studies. And he's like, okay. Guess
You're
I
too
won't,
old for me,
cool.
Jason.
guess
Right.
won't ask you out on a date.
But then also,
Even she tells her friends, like, no, I'm not going to go to the audition. And they're like, what is wrong with her,
Mhm.
right? Then she goes to English class.
Before that,
Oh, what's before that?
she tries to make friends with the girl when they're walking into
Oh,
class.
my
right,
gosh.
with Stacy.
Stacy.
Oh, I think that is after actually because
it happen after?
because she takes a different test, her qualifying exam.
Oh.
So
no,
yeah,
no,
so
no, it's before. She goes to Stacy, gives her a hug, and Stacy like pulls off
oh,
her
that's
shirt,
right.
and she falls over the bike thing, and her friends are like, "Yeah, why are you surprised she did that?" And she's like, I cannot
Can't
believe.
believe it! I was best friends
She
with her in
did
sixth
that.
grade.
It's fine. Then she goes to English class, and Luis, this part probably got to you. They have like a pop quiz about Hamlet or something, and he asks her a question, and she basically gives a quote unquote college level
Well,
analysis.
She asked, first of all, the teacher asked a dumb kid in the class. He asked him a question about Hamlet, and the dumb kid like mutters his way through it. He's like, Hamlet is like wise or smart or something like that. And the teacher's like, okay, cool, A+. And then he moves on to her.
A B.
The B. And he moves
But
on.
still, I mean, like, this kid is like, Hamlet, like, he's literally describing himself. Hamlet doesn't know what
dumb.
he does.
And
So
then-
you're saying that Hamlet
Right.
is
Why?
unsure.
Blah, blah,
and
blah.
it's like-
And he's like, yeah. B.
Exactly.
Solid. All right. Then he asks Anna a question. She gives a legit answer, and he's like, F, that was too much. You're trying to impress me. Too much, basically.
So an F.
Superfluous.
It was ridiculous, right? So then she goes up to the teacher after, and it's like, I don't understand why you gave me an F. That was a college level analysis. And he was like, yeah, you could never do a college level answer, basically.
It is what
and
it
then
is.
she recognizes him.
Yes.
Great. So apparently the mama,
Mhm.
not the teenage
She's like,
mama,
Bates. Where
this
do I know that name?
dude,
Bates.
like asked her out to the prom or something
And
like
when they
that.
were in high school.
And she turned him down. And he is obviously still not over
Still
that.
So
very
he has
hung
a
up on it.
vendetta for her daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
And no matter
It's
what she
some
does,
Snape level teacher stuff.
Yeah.
happening over
it
here.
is.
Wait a minute. That statement makes it seem as if like teachers have different levels of snake stuff.
No,
Snape.
No, Snape from Harry Potter,
Snape,
who had an obsession
Oh,
with,
who
with
hated
with
Harry
one of
his
because
students'
he was
mothers.
obsessed with the mom.
Okay, got it.
yeah. So yeah, she's like,
Luis, don't you put more on us. Don't you do it.
So she's like,
She tells him off. It's great.
yeah, she's like, you were just hung up on my mother from back in high school, and it's pathetic. And
I thought she was going to get suspended, but I'm kind of glad that it kind of just ended there. And
right, because he's like, oh,
he's like, oh, we know now. Okay, I guess
highly
I'll stop being a
embarrassed.
DIC.
yes, exactly. So then
Hilarious.
So then she goes into her qualifying exam test, right?
Yeah.
And this is for I don't know what it's
She
for.
still tries to
It
sit
kind of
by-
seems like the Casey. I mean, not that it's called that everywhere. What is that?
it's like an honors exam. Yeah.
Oh, it was an honor. So like an
Oh,
AP
okay.
class.
like a-
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Or maybe to get
she's
into
still
an AP
trying to make
class.
friends with Stacy like an idiot. Sits by her, and then Stacy calls her out for cheating on her test.
She writes
even-
her a note
Yeah.
and says, like, I'm so glad we're friends again. And then has Lindsay Lohan look over at the note.
Mama said
And then
she's
as soon as she looks over, she's like, this girl's cheating. Can you get her out of here?
So lo and behold, she's in detention again, right? Then she sneaks out of detention, runs into Jake. Jake is like, oh, you sneaking out of detention again? And she kind of goes off on him, and he's like, it's okay, I can help you. Go get your exam.
Mhm.
They walk through the teacher's lounge. Luis, is that what the teacher's lounge is like? Everybody's so
He's
tired
like-
and out of it.
He's like, don't worry.
No.
No one will even. No one will ever notice.
He's
They're all
literally
burned
Luis
out.
also got pissed. Excuse me, bleep
okay.
that. Also got mad there too. He was like, "Oh my God, that's not what teachers look like."
First off, I don't sound like a devious old witch stirring her pot. All right.
But
Anyways,
were you upset that that's how they portray the teachers?
Yeah.
okay, so they go through the teacher's lounge, get to where the tests are. She fills in her tests, right?
Which
Then-
number one is completely unethical. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Number
definitely.
two, it gets even worse, and I knew
Because
this
she-
is where this was going.
I know, because she sees Stacy's test, erases all of her answers, and just writes, I'm
stupid in big letters all over the test.
Okay, and you're saying that you're not a teenager right now,
Right.
Mama Curtis? Okay, because you
For
acting
sure.
like one,
This
right?
is a.
And I guessed this when I was like, dude, Luis, he's gonna not like her because of that. Like
Right.
that is
Oh, yeah,
there's a
and he
level
was
of
like- He was like, you're right, you are too young for me. Because she, asks for a ride
Mhm.
home or whatever, and he's like, no.
yeah.
I think
He's
you're
really
right, you're too young for me.
not
That
feeling it on
basically,
Lindsay
that was
Lohan.
immature. He's, not into her anymore.
but
Not who she thought he was.
while they're walking back out of the teacher's lounge, the TV is on, and that's where we see Mama Curtis in Anna's body looks up at the TV and sees herself, right, her daughter on TV
And she's
doing
like,
the
my
woo.
mom is so dead. And Jake is like, your mom is freaking cool.
Yeah,
right?
he
Jake
totally-
sees the mom and is like, oh snap, your mom is awesome. I
Yeah,
love her.
super enamored with her.
So this is where the good happens, right?
The good. Luis would call
Mom-
this the bad.
Mom goes to the coffee shop. Lo and behold, Jake works at the coffee shop. It's his second job. And they just, from here on out, it's just too much, right? So he's obviously not working
Hit
anymore.
me, baby, one more time.
They're just vibing
They're
hard
vibing.
this entire
Like,
time.
They're talking about
Hard.
what bands they like, what bands they don't like.
Uh-huh.
They're singing. I literally thought they were gonna make out.
They're
in the coffee
staring
shop.
deeply into each
And
other's eyes.
everybody in the coffee shop is looking at them like, what the heck?
So yeah, it's this 19-year-old and Jamie Lee Curtis, and they're just,
Getting it.
there's some serious chemistry. I
It's
wonder
legal,
what the
I
chemistry
guess.
reads were like for this movie.
But there was a lot of chemistry. I really appreciate their acting here because I legit felt the chemistry between them, and it was so uncomfortable, right?
Oh, that's Luis.
I'm so
Luis kept looking
uncomfortable.
at me and was like, "Oh my god!" He literally was like, "I have to be on my phone right now because I cannot watch this." So he's on his phone and he'll look up for just a second and go back to his phone. He's like, "I can't do this."
Just how I'm doing right now, I was on my Switch. I'm paying full attention to what you guys are doing.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm really just doing it for fun. But when I was watching the movie, I was doing it so I wouldn't like lose my SHIT.
But seriously though, it felt like at any moment they could kiss,
Right.
and that was gonna like put me over the
Yes.
edge.
It was too
Both
much.
of their acting in this scene
Yes.
was so good, like hands down.
He totally was like, and I kind of like give
Enamored
it
with
more
her.
to her, give it more to him, excuse me,
Mhm.
because he's a young dude at this point.
Right.
Like, he's cute. So
Granted, Jamie Lee Curtis is hot though, so
Yeah,
he's
she
like, I
is.
can do this.
but
Yeah.
like he looks like he is in love with her, like
Right.
no doubt.
He's
Yeah.
enamored
Yes.
with her. So from this
it
point
shows
on,
later.
Chad Michael Murray is
He's sprung.
insane. Okay? And it just gets even crazier, right? So like she realizes, she's like, oh my gosh, I have to go. And she's like, why? He's like, I have my rehearsal dinner.
I'm getting married.
I'm getting married. And he's like, what? He's like,
For
I
real?
don't know if you felt it too, but like, you can't get married. And she was like, sorry, I need to go. And he's like, at least let me give you a ride, right? And she's like, okay.
Okay, so she hops on the back of his
She hops on the
bike.
back of the Harley or whatever it is.
The
And then-
Ducati.
the
Okay.
Ducati. Okay, she's like hugging him, all smiles, and then her freaking fiance is in the car and sees her and is like,
This is
"Hey,
a very small town.
what are you doing?"
Tess?
right?
Tess?
Oh my god, it's so much. So
Can you
she
imagine?
gets home. She's like telling her mom, like, "Oh my god, Jake is so great," and she's like, "You need to get off your high horse." First of all, if I was in that moment, I'd been like, well, she kind of does. She's like, "You can't be with Jake. We have to go to the rehearsal dinner. You need to go get ready because your fiance's coming and blah blah blah, all this stuff." Then he's outside, free.
Okay.
He literally does not stop. This
And,
is
like,
what
and,
extra
like,
freaks me
the
out.
best part is, "Still believe."
He's singing friggin'
Still believe. Give me a sign.
And then Lindsay Lohan, she sees him and tackles him to the ground.
I
He's
feel like that's
"No."
been in a lot of promos, that
Yeah.
moment.
Yes, I
because
think it was
I
in the
remember
trailer.
that. He's like, hit me up. It's like Lindsay Lohan tackles him to the ground.
Dude, it's so good.
It's very funny.
And she literally like puts him against the freaking pole outside.
Like a
and is
trellis
like,
or something.
You
Mhm.
can't like my mom. You need to get out of here.
Please
blah, blah, blah.
stop.
And then like in an attempt to like distract him from that, she kisses him, right? And he's like, "You're nice, but like your mom." It's like Stacey's mom's got it going on.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Legit.
Mhm.
That song was definitely written
Yeah.
for this movie.
And his mom has got it going on. Yeah, he was all about her.
It's fine. So they go to the rehearsal dinner.
Yes.
This is just a hot mess at this point, okay?
It's a whole thing because they're still switched.
They're still switched, and then Jake freaking shows up.
I can't.
Jake is there
the
again.
Rehearsal dinner, and Andre the whole time in the movie is like, "Dude, this fool's a stalker. He needs to get out of here. He's known her for one
Where
day.
is
What's
security
wrong
at?
with her?"
Get this dude out of here.
Security.
Security.
It's just
So
the
so
freakiest of Fridays.
not
okay?
only has Jake shown up to try to profess his love to this lady that he just met,
Hi,
but
old people. I'm here for the lady.
Yeah.
she like sees him, pulls him to the ground behind the bar, and is like, "You need to leave. Like, what do you hear?" And he's like, "Come on, just don't get married." Basically, it's just like, "Do you like a little bit, please?"
just a little bit, please.
Stop. And then Luis, what did you say?
I don't wanna.
Stop it. It's too much, right?
It's so creepy.
So
but
she
her
tries to kick
friends
him to the curb.
also.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
friends
Show up.
also come and try to kidnap her to take
So
her to the
No, they
They're
don't
like-
try to kidnap
They
her.
absolutely
They
do.
absolutely kidnap
With
Anna,
tape.
which is mom.
Yes.
And they pull her outside with like
you have
tape
to
over her
come.
mouth.
House of Blues is like a block away. You'll be in, you'll do the gig, you'll come back, nobody will miss you. Just say you went to the bathroom. And she's like, I can't, I am a mom and I don't play guitar. And,
No, it's so good.
But then the friends, security catches them. They don't
not
they
the
catch
other
Jake.
creepy
I don't understand.
stalker dude.
But they catch them and present them to the fiance and
And the mom.
Mama Lee Curtis or whatever. And she's like, and the fiance's like, go do the gig.
Thank
It's
God
all
he
good.
said that. Like,
you
it's
know?
really not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a
you
deal.
know?
Well,
Go.
Luis and I looked at each other and we agreed in that moment, like, this guy is a good guy. Like,
He
he
is.
wants to be a good stepdad, but
Mhm.
even though he's like appeasing her, which can kind of bugs me on some levels in some situations,
Yeah.
it's not that he wants to appease her just to make her like him for like some ease of parenting. Like, he literally is like, I want to care about what they want to care about.
Right.
Like, I want to be involved. So if this is something that's really important to her, then we need to show that we care too. And I know you want to be there, Jamie Lee.
He was
mom,
like, you need to
daughter.
go.
Right.
You need to go
You need to
too.
go
And
show
then he
support.
also kind of tells her, like, this is not, like, we should not be getting married if you're not gonna, like, let me be in, like, let
Be in their lives.
him be in the daughter's life on their own terms and stuff. Like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
He basically is like, stop being so controlling.
Yeah.
Like, in a very nice way.
Yes.
I thought it
Okay.
was a very sweet
It was
moment.
really good.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
So she goes, right? And thank goodness Jamie Lee Mama goes because Lindsay Lohan can't play a guitar right now because she is a mom.
Yes.
Okay, so they're
Okay, first off, moms can play guitar, but it's because she's Jamie Lee
doesn't know
mom.
how.
Yes.
She doesn't know how.
Yes.
So they're like doing the song, which is a great song, by the way.
I liked it.
I
Yeah.
knew all the words. I was hecking singing out. Don't wanna grow up, but I wanna get out. Hey,
Take me away. Yeah.
I was
So
singing it the whole time.
they started the song. The band is playing, and
It's gonna get rough because
and
she has a guitar.
yeah,
solo.
Mommy Lohan is up there, not even really pretending to play guitar. She can't. She
She's
can't
like,
do anything.
act
She's
like
like
Keith.
bopping around.
Act like Keith. And then she's like, who? Keith Richards! And she's like,
Ask my
Oh.
mom.
So bad.
At one point, I think they're getting set up to start playing. She's like, "Oh, and remember, Anna, we're gonna change the chord progression from CCD to CDC." And she was like, "Can we just play in the key of rock?"
It's ridiculous. Oh, also Jake's there
The
too. He
key
follows
of
her
rock.
to the
Jake
House
is there.
of Blues.
Jake
and
is
it's like,
everywhere.
Hey, baby, like, what's going on? You're not
Hey,
getting
baby.
married? And she's like, get out of here, right?
he's
Luckily-
such a, now it's such a creep.
There's
He
some
is a
stalker
creep.
tendencies
okay, upon
going
this
on
viewing,
with Jake.
I mean, I think he was so hot when I was younger
Yeah.
too. But upon this viewing, I'm like, this dude's a stalker. Like, you
This
need
is
to get
all in
outta
one
here.
day. He's been with her all day.
One day. One day, bro.
Like
you
5
need to-
times.
You need to
Mhm.
calm down, okay? Thank goodness she unplugs the guitar and plugs hers in so she can play the guitar
In
solo.
the back,
right?
backstage.
They
Yes.
kill it, okay? And they basically make it into the Wango Tango thing.
Yes.
So the audition went well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
So they go back to the rehearsal dinner.
And this was a heart-wrenching moment.
It was.
I
did it
almost
upset
cried.
you? Yeah.
I almost cried. So at this point, they get back to the rehearsal dinner. Everybody's there, and Lindsay Lohan gives, I think, the best performance at this
She
point.
does, yeah.
She looks at Jamie Lee mom and says,
I need you to do something for me.
"Yes, I need you to do something for me. I know you're not ready, and I don't want to get married like this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You need to go over there and break it to him.
Like before the
Tell them
toast.
that
Like-
we have to postpone the wedding.
We have to postpone it." And it was so sad because I was then thinking about, from the mom's point of view, like, I've been waiting for this day. I've been doing everything to keep it perfect. And now literally I have no way
So her
to
daughter
fix
can't
this.
get married to
No
her
control.
fiance.
No, that's
It's just weird.
yes,
you
it's
know?
bizarre, and then it cheats her of her like moment.
Right.
And so anywho, so you are totally in your head thinking, okay, Jamie Lee mom or Jamie Lee Anna is gonna go over there and she's gonna say like, we need to postpone this or whatever. So she walks over to almost Daddy-O and tells him, sit down, everyone please be quiet, I want to do a toast. And now you're like, oh God, what's gonna happen?
She's not supposed
Yeah.
to toast that whole rehearsal dinner.
You're supposed to say, we're not gonna do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So she stands up and she gives a pretty heartfelt speech.
It's a
Really
really,
good
good speech.
speech.
As a teenage daughter giving
Mhm.
that speech, like, that's legit.
It's really good.
She's
She's
just
like,
saying-
2 years ago, my husband, aka my dad, passed away, and it was really hard on all of us, especially my kids, and I was really upset and hurt, and I was sad all the time. And then I met this man, and he came into our lives, and everyone around me could see that I was happy again. I was singing in the shower again, and
Very
now
bad. Yeah.
yes, and now we know that he's good for not just me, but for all of us
Anna
in
wanted
our
me to
family.
tell you that he loves you.
Yes,
Oh, it was so sweet.
It was very good.
So
sweet.
at this point, they both did two selfless things, right? She did that for her mom, and the mom did the audition for her.
Mhm.
So what happens?
It immediately prompts a body switch
Earthquake.
back. Yes, earthquake happens, and now at this earthquake, everyone
Everybody
can
felt
Because
feel it.
everyone was in the room.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I think before it was just because they were by themselves.
In the bathrooms.
Yeah.
right.
So everybody felt it. And I think that makes sense cinematically too, because wouldn't it have been weird if like they were doing
Right,
this
yeah.
and then they felt normal again?
Yeah,
like
that
at
Hearing the
least
drums and
work.
stuff.
at
Yeah.
least it gave like a buffer to them
Right.
like feeling back to themselves. They immediately switch back,
Oh, thank
and then they're
goodness.
able to hug, love, and then
Finish
get
the
ready
toast.
for a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Boom,
then
boom,
the
boom,
next
boom,
scene,
boom,
they're
boom,
at the
boom,
wedding.
boom, 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 chicka boom boom,
It was a very cute wedding, but you're right. It was very like
What?
simple.
I just want to dance, Luis. Leave me alone.
simple compared to the rehearsal dinner.
The rehearsal dinner was like literally like Hilton status, and they're, you
Little
know,
outside
they're
beach wedding.
yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about their wedding, but
But like
Maybe that's what she wanted. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Each their own, man, right? So also I used to the purple dress that Lindsay
Mhm.
Lohan wears. I used to want that so bad.
It was
in this
really
scene.
cute.
It was so cute.
I mean, it was a size too small for her. It was a little too tight, but
for
okay.
sure, but I still wanted to
Yes,
be
it was
her
cute.
You know.
hardcore.
Andre was like, it wasn't too tight.
Maybe
Dude, when
that's
I was,
why I
when I was a
always
kid,
used to
Lindsay
wear
Lohan
my
was
hair,
super
uh,
hot.
Yeah, Andre
She's
was
still
like,
so cute though.
Yeah.
Like when you look back at her, like she's a very cute
I
girl.
always used to wear my hair half. I mean, I still wear my hair half up, half down most of the time, and I'm wondering if it's because Lindsay Lohan, like when she's the
As
mom,
the mom.
always wears her hair like that with her
Mhm.
chunky highlights, and it looks good,
Mhm.
right? Also, I just don't like my hair in my face, but
Also at the wedding, guess who's there?
oh, it's Jake
It's Jake.
breaking into things,
Bro,
man.
How did you even find the location of this wedding? What town is this?
I think the mom invited him.
Okay.
I
yeah,
think.
I guess.
I think at the rehearsal dinner, he probably came back, and mom was like, "Come to the wedding."
so
or
creepy.
something.
I don't
Well,
know.
thank goodness
And
he
he
has
was
some
like,
time to sleep off his Freaky Friday too, because he literally was like, "That was just a really freaky Friday." I don't know what I was thinking, but you freaking rock, Anna. And then they kiss, right?
Right.
It's really weird. He's like, "I don't like your mom," and I see your mom, and like, I like her, but.
But like she's just like a normal mom and not like this super hot lady that I thought she was yesterday.
He's not Stacy's mom.
Yeah. Yesterday, you know, I spent like, you know, an hour and a half chatting up your mom in the coffee shop, thinking that I was definitely gonna get with her, you know. But now,
Still props to Chad Michael Murray on his performance.
Yeah, it was
because
good.
him singing "Hit Me Baby One More Time" will always be in my
Yeah,
brain.
And it was so
That's pretty
bad. That's
good.
the best part.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not good. It was
baby.
it was not good.
So good. And it's fine. They're all happy. Lindsay Lohan does another wedding song with her mom at the band.
That one I remember more.
Yeah,
Like
and
that must have been in like
I
TV
think
commercials
I think
and
they
stuff.
used to play it on the Disney Channel, like little music videos and the
Mhm.
commercials. And then it's funny because her younger brother and grandpa are like fighting, right? And because the Asian
The
people
Chinese
did the
restaurant,
catering,
they did the
Grandma
catering,
sees
so
and
grandma's
is
there.
trying to bring them some freaking cookies
And
at
you
the
thought
end.
she was gonna go to this white people's wedding and not bring all her magical fortune cookies? Okay, she got them on deck. She's like, "You guys want some fortune cookies?" To the grandpa and the little brother.
And they
He's
want
so
them.
funny. He's like, "You old fart." I think he's like, "Go dance with that girl," and he's like, "No." And he's like, "You do it." And he's like, "Shut up, you old
Won't
fart."
you do your fart? Which is very funny.
But it's okay. They don't switch.
Right, because the
mom-
Chinese daughter, she tackles grandma and gets the
Grandma
fortune cookies
needs to
away.
be tackled, okay?
Yeah.
Grandma needs to get
Once
like
again, she has a problem. She should probably go to see a psychologist.
There are some
Jamie Lee Curtis.
consequences to your fortune cookie actions, Grandma. Okay, this movie is a prime example. So good.
But yes, that's the end of the movie.
And
she's
I
like, yeah, there's good consequences. Look, we're getting married.
also like
And my daughter got the catering job.
Yes. Selfless. Is it
people like this movie. What does it have on
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes?
Let's do the tomatoes.
on the Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has an 88%.
Okay, I
It is
believe that.
Yep.
certified fresh.
Finally, an
Although
accurate
it
What's
has
that?
an audience score of 57%, which
Why?
is interesting.
It's
That's a
because
good
people
question.
don't like
The critics' consensus is
Lindsay Lohan.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan charm in Mark Waters' nicely pitched and Disney's second remake of the 1976 hit Freaky Friday. Yeah, so
Did they make their first movie too?
yes.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
That's also on
The
Disney
original
Plus.
Freaky Friday.
Yes, it's on there with Jodie Foster as the
Oh.
daughter.
It's much more housewife and like very kind of. They kind of make it. They're trying to make it like freaky, like
Sure.
scary,
Yeah,
That
like,
they
whoa,
switch.
can you
It's really
believe
weird.
it?
We kind of watched like clips of
We
it.
watched
and I
the
was like,
trailer.
huh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so people didn't know if they liked it, but the critics did. Interesting.
Yes, the critics loved this movie, and I think that's kind of why it's become like a
I freaking love it.
cult
dude.
classic
It's
or,
so
or
good.
whatever.
All right, let's do some ratings.
Well,
Louise,
did
would
it,
you?
did it make money?
Oh, sorry, I
yes.
forgot about the money.
No, it's okay. It made some money. It had a budget of $26 million and a full box office of $160 million.
Oh,
good.
So, yeah,
shoot.
It did good.
This made them.
It did
some
very good. All
shmoney.
right, Luis, what are you gonna rate Freaky Friday?
I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. It was good. I didn't think I was gonna like it, just like Princess Diaries.
Mhm.
I don't think it was a 9 because it gave me so much anxiety.
Right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Andre?
I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I really like Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. She is awesome. It's so I look like the Crypt Keeper. Just all of it. It's hilarious. And then it has a very early 2000 soundtrack and
Yep.
and Lindsay Lohan she does a good job as well. This movie is very funny.
Yesterday when I was thinking about it, I was going to give it an 8.5. But I'm going to give it a 9 because as we're talking about it more, I'm realizing that this is one of the best like early 2000s movies,
True.
like live action ones that Disney did. Like it's one of the best ones. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9. And because Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan both had prime acting in this one,
Word.
I'm going to give it a 9. Emily?
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I really, really liked it. If we're comparing it to the Princess Diaries, I like them both, and they obviously have different premises, but the music is better in this one than it was in the previous one. It just holds up better over time.
I like this one more than Princess Diaries.
And I would say
They're both good. But
I
this
feel
one's
so
more
evil saying that against my girl Julie. Like I can't be saying that
Right.
against
this one's
Julie.
just more. Oh, it's not that
Julie
the other
versus
one's
Jamie.
not fun.
You know?
I like Julie better, but Jamie's great.
Well, I mean, in Princess Diaries, it was more the young girl. It was more.
Mia.
Anne Hathaway.
More
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
That's
that
true.
killed
In the
it.
second movie, I think you get more of the Julie Andrews. Okay, so I think I would probably say I like this one on whole better, but the secondary characters in the other movie are way better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they hold
agreed.
up better. But I do like this movie a lot. I thought it was very funny. I will rewatch it. It was good.
Yeah.
Me
So
too.
I'll give it a good 8.5. Jolly good.
I still
Jolly
need to watch the second Princess
good.
Diaries.
It was
I'm
cute.
gonna watch that today.
But because the guy in
Definitely.
that movie reminds me of Chad Michael Murray in this
Yes.
one, like where he's annoyingly attractive.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
and
Chris
he
Pine.
uses it to
Yeah.
like be very like white man.
It's really funny. have you seen this?
Now that I look back on these things, I'm
you seen
like, wow,
the
you're
second
using
one,
your
Dave?
privilege.
I have not seen.
We
Princess
should watch
Diaries
it today.
He's
It's
using
really
his
good.
white man privilege to
Right.
very much
To get all up
sequester
in
these
there.
women.
It's
Yeah.
really good. It's got like some good themes.
It's
in it, too, and
annoyingly-
stuff like that.
Amusing.
It is, yeah.
Just like in real life.
Yeah.
But we
Um,
are in for another treat next week on Michelle's Movie Mayhem. Okay.
It's a third movie that I haven't seen that I also don't want to watch, but I feel like I've done that with the last two, so I might actually
And then
like
This
it.
turned
one will
out
be good too.
okay, but this one, I don't know.
Next week
So-
we are watching the 1989
Oh my.
Going back
Rick
in time.
Moranis film Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
So we were talking about this a little bit, and I'll touch on it more last week. But I
Next
think
week.
the one I grew
Time
next
travel.
week. I think the one I grew up on was Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, and not Honey, We Shrunk the Kids.
Which is the first, right? Honey, We Shrunk the Kids is the first one?
Honey,
yes,
I
and the
Shrunk
one
the
I
Kids
grew
is the
up on, I
first one,
think, is the
yes.
third movie.
Oh.
So we shall see if I remember this one as much as I remember the other.
Yeah.
But we can't start with the third movie. We gotta start with the first one.
Right.
All
So-
I know about this is that they had the Disney thing, like the stuff at Disneyland.
Yes.
For a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I watched it. I just remember it.
It was
being
like
there.
that 3D show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Yeah,
It
that was
oh,
that was
yeah.
my
It was
freaking favorite.
that was
thing to
pre
do as a
Captain
kid.
EO.
Yes. So
It was.
between Honey, I Shrunk the Audience and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, you probably have molded.
Yeah, you have
those
an
two
amalgamation.
experiences.
But I was
probably.
like really obsessed with them. Like if we went to Disneyland, we had to see Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Like
Okay.
that was my jam as a kid, and
Yeah.
I was really really upset when they got rid of it. Like very upset.
Mhm.
So I'm really interested to revisit this, and I hope you guys are too. And it's on Disney Plus.
That's right. Check it
And
out.
It's Rick Moranis.
Yay.
Boom.
All right. Yeah,
Boom.
that's gonna be it for this
Boom.
week, you guys. Boom.
Boom. Thank you.
Boom, boom.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to keep up with us, head to our social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod. Send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com.
Shrink
we'll
your
read your message
kids.
on the show. We'll shrink your kids. Leave a comment down below. What did you think of Freaky Friday? Would you switch bodies with your mom? Probably not.
Nope.
I definitely would not.
Absolutely not.
Would
That's
be
not
most
a
awkward
question.
for you and Louise.
I don't even want to think about that.
Your mom's rocking.
Yeah, my mom's hot, dude.
Your mom is a hot
I don't
mom.
want to switch bodies with her.
I don't want you to do that either. Please don't.
You don't want to be Sonya for a couple of days?
Oh, no.
She's the best
No,
looking
you
mom
would
out
switch.
there, though.
You would switch bodies with your dad.
That sounds like my body's going to hurt even more than it does now.
You'll be taller.
Barely, like an inch, you know?
Mm.
I'd have more money though. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Follow
You
us.
could go cha-ching.
Head to our Patreon. We'll post a couple crack episodes. Patreon.com/The Walt Vault. And I think that's been it for this week. We will see you next time for some Honey I Shrunk the Kids goodness. The vault is now closed.